Yeah, boy.
What's up, guys? Today I have a pretty simple build for you in Wo Long. This is a build you can get going early on, and it has a lot of options of different spells you can switch to in order to optimally take on any boss. So, let's check it out. The entire focus of this build is around the King Scimitar, which I'm sure I'm pronouncing wrong. It has some scaling in both fire and metal. Its best scaling is in water, but we can worry about that later. I love this weapon. Not only is it extremely fast, but its deflect difficulty is 125%, which is one of the best I've found so far. I've not messed with the special effects yet, so this weapon could get even better, but the truly important thing to get is the Starfall martial art. This is a swift jump in the air coming down with a high damage slash. It covers a small area of ground, granting you a bit more reach, and it's so quick you're able to use it more often than other martial arts. So make sure to get one of these swords, as they're by far the best weapon I've found for myself. I don't even really switch weapons much here, so your second is up to you. Then we get into the virtues or elements. Since this is an early game build, you'll want to level fire immediately. Get it up to 12 so you can use that flame weapon spell. Then we'll scale into earth up to only 2. This class does not scale your weapon and will only need it for the enhanced defense skill, which is much more useful than it looks. Lastly, we want to scale out metal as high as possible. I've gone up to 20 so far, which gained me access to all the skills that I wanted. Elemental Plague and Venomous Discharge. You can honestly start scaling into something else at that point, but metal seems like the best option as of now. So make sure to have 12 in fire, 2 in earth, and 20 in metal. We wanted to go into fire first because the amplified damage skill is incredible. Activate it and you deal more damage. This also makes you take more damage, but trust me, enemies dying much faster is well worth your time. We also are able to infuse our weapon with fire. Now, I have poison equipped most of the time, but if you happen to run into an enemy that uses poison, you may be better off switching into fire. We also have enhanced defense, which not only reduces all damage taken, but reduces flinch. This has come in handy more times than I can count, as you might take a hit but still be able to finish the enemy off since they can't stagger you. Lastly, we have Elemental Plague. This is a must. Activating it increases the buildup of status effects. For much bigger enemies, the spells that throw poison build up extremely quickly, dealing some excellent damage. For faster enemies who are always on the move, that fire on the weapon will build up burning at an excellent rate when you attack. All in all, you have some skills for much higher damage and one for a bit of defense. Armor in this game is really all up to you. There are so many different effects that change things up, so do what you feel is best. As for the Divine Beast, I found the Killin or Earth one you start with to be the best option. It deals massive damage and helps to reduce the enemy's spirit bar by a terrific amount. It's also the most reliable for hitting, as you just walk up to something and activate it. If you miss, you can then walk the boss or peon into the rocks, damaging them in the process. The best thing about this build is it allows you to kill things much faster earlier on. The amplified damage lasts a decent amount of time, and if activated along with enhanced defense, you don't get blasted as much when taking damage. The idea is to activate Elemental Plague and then throw some poison at enemies. Melee a bit to regain your spirit bar, and then buff your damage and defense to destroy the opponent. This is also where your martial art comes into play, because the sword is so fast that you can swing 3 or 4 times and then activate Starfall for what is usually a finishing slash. This might not be right for everyone, but it has been extremely useful so far in my playthrough, as I can get rid of smaller enemies quickly and gain morale much faster. Then the bigger opponents become not quite as difficult to deal with. One last thing I'll say is you don't want to get into a habit of spamming these spells. Do this and you'll run out of your spirit bar, making blocks and deflects nearly impossible to achieve. Try and use the poison when an enemy is stunned and focus on the weapon buff most of the time. Again, the best part of this build is the weapon, as it's extremely fast, making deflecting easy. I've not found a weapon playing solo that feels quite as nice as this scimitar does. Hopefully this gives you some ideas of how to create a character in Wo Long. I truly think you're better off splitting some points up and getting benefits from multiple classes. And at the start, you want skills that cost low morale, making this setup pretty good for that. I'll leave you with a bit of gameplay to show off the build, but do remember that Earth ups your carry weight the most. So if you want a bit better defense, you may want to put some points into that as well. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time.